Hi, everyone. Welcome to Nurse Deck Podcast. I am your host, Jamie Smith, and today we are interviewing Dr. Ebony Gresham. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. We are excited to
Good.
interview you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. So tell us, how did you get started in nursing? Share your journey with us.
So I got started in nursing pretty much when my mom passed away. So she was in hospice. My mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. And before that, I was at Howard University in the pre-med program. I wanted to be an OBGYN. And so when my mom got sick, I came home, I took care of her, and just seeing the care that she was given by her hospice nurses. And also I had to learn many of those procedures myself by taking care of her, interested me into nursing. So I went to school for my associate degree in nursing. And actually, before I went to school for my associate, I went for my LPN. I was not admitted, unfortunately, into the LPN program because they had too many students and my GPA was only a 3.8. So I was not, yes, I was not, accepted into their program. So I immediately went to the RN program, was accepted. And that's when I, started my journey in my associate degree. And it was really challenging for me because I had 6 kids at the time, working as well full time in that program. And so, but I received my associate degree after failing my med surge course by 2 points. And yes, I had to start the program all over about a year later, but I did pass the following year. So that's how my journey began in nursing, and to now having my doctorate in nursing.
Good for you. I really like how you mentioned the failing med surge by 2 points because med surge is hard. I remember med
Very,
surge.
very.
So your message speaks loud and clear to folks listening, because just think about those who have failed and they think, well, gosh, is it worth it? If you
Yes,
want to be a nurse bad enough, if that's what your calling is, your message
yes,
tells me, go for it. Look at you, and you've already got your doctorate. So
yes, yes.
you've gone through a lot and have an interesting and an inspiring story. What is your purpose in life? What motivates you?
Well, number one, my children, right? So I have 10 kids, and in each and every one of them, seeing their faces, their smiles, just knowing that I want to impact them, and just the community, period, of other nurses. It really motivates me and inspires me to push and go beyond even my limitation. And so I try to make sure that I am not only an impact, but I enforce and I'm not enforce, but I empower and inspire other nurses as well. So my why, number one, is my children. Number
Oh,
two, it's just the community that I serve.
I respect that.
Yes.
Hmm. Tell us more about SNAP Nurse and your role there. Can you also share your experience as an incident commander during COVID-19?
Yes, yes. So COVID-19 was something totally different, right? So I was actually the clinical nurse coordinator at the Georgia Department of Public Health at the height of COVID, working directly with CDC at the health department. And it was just amazing. Learned so much, was able to implement policies, procedures at a time where we were uncertain, right, of what was going on. And so at Snap Nurse, I took on a role as a lead manager. But my role as a lead manager, I had 200 nurses out on the field at one time, administering anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 vaccines, COVID vaccines a day in Pomona, Pomona, California. And so that role was very challenging. In my role as a nurse leader, I've always had direct reports, maybe about 20, but not 200, And so to have that many people that come to you and need your leadership, it was exciting and challenging, but yet rewarding as well. So that role really took my career to another level, another height. I also served on different assignments with Snap Nurse from LA to Alaska, and currently now in California. but California again, with them. But that particular role at that time was probably, like I said, the most challenging yet rewarding, with 200 lives needing me as their lead nurse, and their manager. And their lives were still going on, while the pandemic was going on, the height of the pandemic. So yes.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned SNAP nurse. What exactly is that? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so SNAP Nurse is not only a staffing agency, but it's a med tech program. It's a med tech facility that will give you what's called like on-demand nursing. So there's a lot of facilities that need nursing care at this time, like right now. And they are able to provide you with those nurses on demand. Using technology, as the premise of their background. They have something that's called Insta Pay, meaning that when you're finished your shift, you get Insta paid,
Wow.
and a lot of other agencies don't provide that. They're also really big on just making sure that they have the right fit for that facility. So there's account managers that make sure that happens. They have a CEO, Cherie, who's very personable with each and every nurse, and they build that relationship and rapport with you so that they place you in the right facility that, is for you. So it's just that on-demand nursing platform that they have that's totally incredible and totally different from what we have ever seen in the past. So they don't really call themselves like just a staffing agency, because they're more than just a staffing agency.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
What are the major challenges you faced in your role, and how do you go about managing those?
I would say major challenges that I faced is one, being young, a young nurse, and having my doctorate and being in those leadership roles. So there's times where you'll have like seasoned nurses who may have 20, 30 years of nursing, and they may not want to listen to you or be receptive to your leadership, and that's an unfortunate situation. But what I do is make sure that I set my expectations, which with each nurse that I have as my direct rapport, and I allow them time to get to know me and me to get to know them. And also a little bit deeper, I dig a little bit deeper beyond just my role as their leader, just kind of what do you like to do? Or do you have pets? Or where are you from? Just to get to know them, because sometimes, like I said, they just need to be familiar, with you and understand that this is the role that you play, and then they'll become receptive to it. A lot of times change is just an issue. Everybody's not good with change. And so you introduce yourself, as this transformative leader, that I'm listening to everyone. I'm not here to just do what I say, but I do what I do. So you won't find me just in the office somewhere, but I actually am on the floor. I'm right there on the pavement working with you. And whatever it is that you need, I am there to provide it for you.
Neat. So, as a founder and the CEO of Royalty Body Spa and Wellness, tell us about the services it offers and what inspired you to get into this kind of business.
So the services that I offer at Royalty Body Spa and Wellness, it's a holistic and wellness med spa. So we offer things like body contouring, wood therapy, post-op care for men and women that receive cosmetic surgery. We do yoni steams, teeth whitening. We also do ionic foot baths. We also do sauna detox blankets. Just to help people to detox. I've also offered those services, but also classes to teach other clinicians and professionals how to provide those services and provide them the right way, right? So unfortunately, like the body contouring arena, it's not right now regulated. So there are some people that are just opening up businesses and, saying that they're body contourists, but you're actually getting it from a licensed professional registered nurse, who will teach you about anatomy and physiology and things like that, to know the evidence-based practice, why you're doing what you're doing, and also the customer service, tactics behind it. And so what inspired me to open my business was the pandemic. Actually, when I was out working the pandemic, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do after this? This is not going to be forever. And that's when I wanted to, I networked with other nurse entrepreneurs and nurse practitioners as well. And that's when I began to, get the information and the knowledge and the training that I needed to open up my own medical facility.
That is really, really cool. So
Yes.
you were able to network and
Yes.
learn more about nurse entrepreneurship, and you actually are the CEO of this body spa.
Yes, when I didn't even know that nurses could do that,
Oh,
but it was amazing. Yes, it was absolutely amazing. And it's what I teach to other nurses. Some people don't want to do bedside for the next 20, 30 years, but it's so much more that you can do. You can do a lot more utilizing your degree than just bedside nursing.
that is so true. You can do so much with the degree in itself.
Yes.
So you are also an author. Tell us about your book and what it talks about.
Yes. So my book is The Grit, the Grind, and the Glory. And it goes into detail. It's my memoir about my life. And so I talk about things like childhood traumas. I talk about things like, me being a mom at the age of 16, a teenage mother. I talk about my mom, the time I went through with my mom being a single parent as well. Abandonment, like my father not being there in my life, just different choices that I made in my younger years that affected my older years. I talked about things like being molested at a young age. I went into details about things like that, and just to let people know that a lot of people go through some of these same things, but I am trying to empower and inspire people that you can still make it. You can still survive and thrive even through all that you've been through. It's okay. Go through healing, get a counselor, to the point that you're healed. And then maybe you need to write a book to tell and share your story. But here I am today. I have a doctorate in nursing. I have multiple businesses, and I just want to share that so that people, again, are inspired, that they can do it. If I can do it, they can do it too.
Mm. I have no
Yeah.
doubt just hearing you right now that inspired people, because it takes courage to talk about
Yes.
personal things that have happened to you, but you don't let those things define you.
Not at all. Not at all. Because the healing that I was able, to get growing up and knowing that I needed to be healed and not to suppress it, because especially with COVID, it's caused a lot of people to go into like a depression, and different things. And mental health is really important. So I just want to make sure that people realize that there is healing. There's ways that you can go about being healed from your past. It does not have to define your present, and to move forward. Yeah.
That's a powerful message. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
How do you feel about the current working conditions for nurses? How do you think we can strengthen the healthcare system today?
Well, number one, I think there is not a lot of emphasis placed on the mental health for nurses, mental health. So we are the healers, but who is healing us? I know a lot of people will say, I think number two would be the income, that we are not, of course, given the compensation that we need, because we are the people that can, keep you living. We are the people that make sure that we are bedside, we're holding your hand, we're there 24/7, 12 hours a day at that bed with that person, even when there's no doctor there or respiratory is not there or not even family. But at the same time, even with that stress and that pressure, we have families, outside of work and everything too. So I think, yes, we're not compensated enough, but we also are not taken care of. This pandemic has really caused a lot of us to just break. We saw a lot that we may have not seen. I don't care if you were in the ICU, if you were in the ED, you still saw a lot that you didn't have to see on a daily basis. And some of this was happening not only to our patients, but to our friends and family as well, and some of our nurse colleagues, And so it's really important, I think, that the community cares a lot more about the nursing community, just making sure that we have, even free mental health care, free therapy. If you need time off, that's not an issue, because you are just pressured or stressed or whatever is going on, without ramifications or being written up or losing your job because you just needed that woosah moment to take some time off and decompress. I think that is really important right now for us. And like I said, outside of the income, it's just the mental health care. Mental health care for nurses, number one.
Yeah, you really caught my attention when you mentioned that there's not enough emphasis on mental health. And, the pandemic has heightened this completely. And then you have the crisis, the shortage of nurses. And you're exactly right. We should be able to get therapy for free, mental health, take that time off and not worry about losing our jobs because we took that time off. Because we have to take care of ourselves too.
Yeah. I mean, it got to the point during COVID, during the crisis moment of COVID, that, they were saying even if you had symptoms, you were to still work, and that was absolutely ridiculous. And I understand there was a shortage, but it's like, I'm sick. So how do I heal someone else when I'm sick, and also too, even like with student loans, they need to just do something, with student loan debt, because we had gotten into a lot of, debt with that. But then we are on the forefront, fighting this pandemic, and just in healthcare, period. You could not do anything if you didn't have the nurses.
That's right.
Yeah.
So any message, any words of encouragement to inspire nurses?
Yes, I would say to keep going, to definitely network, to link up with other nurses, to encourage and support and motivate, one another. That's my biggest thing, so that this myth of, nurses eating their young, we can definitely, rid that. I think it's more important for us to each one teach one, each one reach one. Make sure that you partner with each other. You learn from one another, regardless of what your title is or how many degrees that you have. We all can learn from each other. So just that nursing support, whether it's a nursing student or it's a novice nurse, or you have been a seasoned nurse for 30 years, networking and supporting one another is very important.
Absolutely. And I respect your message about moving forward. You mentioned failing med surge and not giving up. Thank God you didn't give up.
Yes. So there's a lot of us, though. There's a lot of us that, we fail a class and we feel doomed because, of course, to get into this program, we had straight A's, right? And then you get into the nursing program with a B or a C and you are devastated. You're like, what? I have a C, but I get it. We had this saying in nursing school many years ago, see your way out. You get that C, keep going, keep moving forward, because that, again, it doesn't define you. There are some people who didn't do well on the actual test, but they are the best nurses. They are the best nurses, very competent, very sharp. And so that would be, what I would say to anyone who wants to be a nurse. If they're a student, like I said, novice nurse, what have you, just keep going. It's like with anything in life, if you really want it, you will keep going. It's not a failure until you stop trying.
Oh, that's a powerful message. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Is there a topic you would like to talk about that has not been discussed?
I don't think so. I will say to nurses who have children, because it really it's a big topic for me, because I feel like I didn't have the support necessarily that I needed during my, initial nursing years in my associate degree program. I would like to just encourage people to try to get as much support as you can when you are going through nursing school, especially when you have children, because it's such a sacrifice already. But with you being a mom, whether you're a single mom or even if you're a wife, it's so much time that you have to dedicate to this program that you'll have some time that you won't have, particularly for your children or for your significant other. So you have to make sure you build those networks and have that support system when you're going through that program. And if you can, build that before you actually start the program, because you'll definitely need it.
You bring up a really good point. So if I heard you right, you said you had 6 kids while
Yes.
you were in nursing school. Well, that brings up another question. So, as a coach, speaker,
Hmm.
author, nurse entrepreneur, and a mother of 10 now, have you ever felt burned out with everything you do?
Definitely. Definitely. I am human, even Superwoman needs a break sometimes. And so when I have those burned out moments is when I have too many balls going at one time. I'm juggling all of them. I just recently learned how to delegate and have a team approach, hire a VA, hire a personal assistant or this person or that person who can help you. So what I do is I have this thing called press the stop button. When I press the stop button in my life, I do no work. Okay. Even when I was in school, I would not do any work that day. My children know that I am not cooking, I'm not cleaning. That's just a day for me. And so if that means I need to go take a jog, if I need to journal, if I need to get a massage, which I do that continuous, I do that like that's religious. I get my massage at least twice a month. And I work out, I exercise, I listen to audiobooks, different things like that. I journal, just things that are for me to kind of woosah, to decompress, and then to get back on my horse, and get back on my game again. But yes, there are times that I myself am overwhelmed, but I know when those trigger points happen, and I know when to stop.
You mentioned trigger points.
Mhm.
What are those trigger points? How do you even know that you're burnout? What happens? How do you know?
So usually I'll get overwhelmed and I'll feel a little anxiety as if things are not getting done, or maybe I don't have enough time to get them done, and I can feel that anxiety inside of me. Normally, when I'm working on 100% battery, I'm just ready to get them done. It's like I'm knocking that check, 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 check. And usually once a month, I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, it's like water over your head. You're like, okay, I can't breathe, and then anxiety kicks in and it feels like more things need to be done than I have the time to do it. And so at that point, I either can delegate, or if I get really past my threshold, I know to stop. I know to stop and just reset, go get a massage, go get your nails done, get a pedicure, whatever you need to do, girl. Like, go take yourself to dinner, just and I'll tell one of my older kids or my husband, hey, you got cooking today, and I'll just take a break. I'll step back, I'll take a break so that I can regain my focus and kind of recharge.
Thank you for that message. So sometimes do you take a break and it's only like 3 or 5 minutes long?
Oh no. My break is like at least 24 hours. At
Okay.
least 24 hours. Yeah. If it's that bad and I really feel overwhelmed, because like you said, I juggle so much at one time, I'll take sometimes a weekend. If I need it, I'll take a weekend. I'll do a staycation. I'll go get an Airbnb. Or I'll stay in one of my own Airbnbs because I actually am a super host of that as well. And I'll just take time off.
You
Yes.
do a lot.
Yes, I do.
So, what are your thoughts on the community? How do you think nurses can benefit from the Nurse Dex community for nurses?
So I think what nurses can do to benefit from the community is to definitely one subscribe to the community
Mhm.
and to definitely stay engaged and in tune with what's going on. There's a lot of resources that's available. You can maybe even find a mentor. And once you go through what the community has to offer, make sure you utilize those resources.
Okay. So, what are other things going on now with you now, and how can the community connect with you?
So I have a lot going on. So I'm in the process of starting my own clothing line. It's actually called Covidpreneur. And the purpose of, yes, I've trademarked it as well. The purpose of Covidpreneur is for like nurse entrepreneurs or anyone, who decided to start a business during COVID. So a lot of people lost their jobs or, got laid off and things of that nature. And they had to do what they had to do to survive. And so it came to me one day on an assignment. I said, that's a Covidpreneur. You had to do what you had to do to survive. And here you are today. And so I have branded it. And I have my own t-shirts and things of that nature that I'm selling. That should be out about in a week. I'll have that on my social media. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Dr. Dr. _Ebony, EBONEE _empowers. And I'm on Facebook as well as Dr. Ebony Gresham. And yes, they can follow me on those platforms. I do lives. I do other discussions with other nurses. My med spa is in Roswell, Georgia, and that's Royalty Body Spa and Wellness, where I currently have other employees that are working currently, but I also am inside of my med spa as well.
I'm just impressed. I don't even So in a week from now, you said you have your Covidpreneur. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Covidpreneur. That is right. Thank you. That is right. Covidpreneur. Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you for your time today. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.